Hello, and welcome to the Boomerang Project. I am Bill Walter, and I will be your guide for this project. In this project, participants will build and fly a simple three-bladed boomerang that will actually come back to you. You will also learn about the basics of flight and how boomerangs work. This project was inspired by the Worldwide Boomerang Project. We'll get back to that at the end of this video. The approximate time it would take to do this project is about 1 hour. The materials that will be needed for this project are wood tongue depressors, cardstock or manila folders, scissors, clear tape, a pen, marker, or pencil, and if you are doing this without the kit, you will need school or wood glue and spring clips or clothespins. Alright, well, let's look at our materials. So here we've assembled all of our materials. You will need some kind of heavy cardstock like a manila folder, or in this case we just have a heavy cardstock paper which we printed the boomerang wings on. You will also need tongue depressors. These are the 6-inch kind, not the kind you get in the popsicle sticks. You need the longer ones. In the kit you should receive one already glued together boomerang. The spars are already glued together. If you were doing this at home without the kit, you will need at least 3 individual tongue depressors. We will also need some tape to tape our wings together and onto the boomerang. We will need scissors to cut out the wings from the cardstock. We will also need a pen, pencil, or marker to basically mark our top side of our boomerang. And if you are doing this at home and need to make your own, you will need at least 3 tongue depressors, and you will need to go on and get the Worldwide Boomerang pattern off of the web. And you'll probably also want a clip of some type, either paper or clothespin such as this, to help hold the sticks together while they're gluing. I'm sure you are all excited about building and flying your boomerang. But before we do that, we should talk about aerodynamics so you understand how the boomerang works so you can fix it if it's not flying like it's supposed to. Aerodynamics is the study of what makes things fly. I think most people know that the wings of an airplane are what make it fly. But why does air flowing over the wings make an airplane fly? Let's talk about air pressure. The air around us is made up of mostly nitrogen and oxygen gas. Even though it's a gas, it's still made up of molecules. Those molecules have mass, just like a solid table, it's just not solid. And like the table, air is pulled down by gravity. If air wasn't pulled down by gravity, it would all escape off into space. And it's a good thing it doesn't, because if it did, we wouldn't be able to breathe. The air above you is pressing down on you. All that air above you, as high as you can see, is all pressing down. And it presses down on you at about 15 pounds per square inch. What does that mean? Well, look at your thumbnail. Your thumbnail is supporting the weight of a 2-liter bottle of soda. If you added up all the pressure on your entire body, the weight is about the same as 8 cars. Your body is supporting 8 cars, and you don't even feel it because the pressure is distributed equally over your whole body. Airplanes fly because air is so dense and the pressure is so high. How does an airplane use air pressure to fly? Well, let's first talk about airfoils. The wing has a special shape called an airfoil. The airfoil is designed to create lift. The wing shown here as the gray teardrop is shown going through the air, And you'll notice that air travels over the top and the bottom of the wing. The air traveling over the top of an airfoil travels further and faster than the air traveling under the bottom of the wing. This creates a low pressure on the top of the wing and a high pressure at the bottom, which generates lift. You've experienced this lifting effect if you've ever used a straw. When you place a straw in a glass, you'll notice that the liquid in the straw is at the same height as the liquid in the glass. This is because the air pressure on the top of the liquid in the glass is the same as the pressure inside the straw. When you put your mouth on the straw and suck in, you create a low pressure in the straw that lifts the liquid up to your mouth. The air pressure outside pushing down is actually pushing the liquid up into your mouth. In a similar manner, an airplane uses this pressure difference to fly. There are three main parts to a wing. The first part is the spar. The spar runs the length of the wing and gives it most of its strength and structure. The second part are the ribs. The ribs are designed in the shape of the airfoil that you want. And the ribs support the third part, which is the skin. The skin is the material covering the wing, which the air will flow over to generate lift. The wing skin is usually made out of fabric, fiberglass, or metal. But for our boomerang, we're going to use cardstock. And our spar is going to be the tongue depressors. Now that we understand how a wing generates lift, let's talk a little bit about some of the things we can do to help the airplane fly well. One of the things we can do is create what's called dihedral. Dihedral is created by sloping the wings in a gentle V upward pattern, as shown in the diagram. Dihedral makes a plane want to fly level. As the plane tips relative to the ground, the lower wing will actually generate more upward lift than the higher wing. This makes the lower wing want to go up faster than the high wing, and eventually it will level the plane out where the lift is the same on both wings. You don't want too much or too little dihedral. Too little dihedral and the plane won't want to fly straight. Too much dihedral and it makes it very hard for the plane to turn. We will actually add dihedral to our boomerang. Too little dihedral will make the boomerang fly too low or curve the wrong way because it's unstable. Too much dihedral will make the boomerang fly high and hover down. If you get it just right, it will fly around in a circle right back to you at the same height. Airplanes turn by banking or tipping with respect to the ground. As an airplane banks, the lifting force is still straight up between the wings, but now part of that lift is holding the airplane up, but the other part of the lift is making it want to turn in the direction that it's banked. In the case of this picture, the airplane is banked to the right, and because of that, it wants to turn to the right. We will use this effect to get the boomerang to return to us. We will start out by throwing the boomerang mostly straight up and down. This will make it want to curve to one side. As it goes out and curves around, the dihedral effect will make the boomerang want to level out and continue a slight gentle turn all the way back to you. You'll learn more about this very shortly when we get ready to fly. The last thing we're going to talk about is the angle of attack. The angle of attack is the angle of the wing's airfoil with respect to the oncoming wind. As the airfoil angles up to the wind, you will get more lift, but you would also get a negative effect called drag. The drag will slow the wing down. So at low angles of attack, you won't have a lot of lift, but you'll fly faster. At high angles of attack, you will fly much slower, but you'll have more lift. With an airplane, they compensate by using a motor. The motor takes care of the drag. So you can go to a higher angle of attack to climb, and you just put more power in the motor. But our boomerangs don't have motors. So if the angle of attack is too high, it will fly slowly with a lot of lift, but it might not make it back to you. Conversely, if you don't have enough angle of attack, it may not have enough lift to stay afloat. So there's a fine line of how much angle of attack you want with the boomerang. All right, let's get on to building a boomerang. If you're following along at home and you have the supplied kit from Andromeda One, the instructions on how to build your boomerang are coming up next. If you are following along and do not have the kit from Andromeda One, then you need to go to YouTube and follow along with the video, A Quick and Easy Boomerang You Can Build at Home, to build your boomerang. A link will be supplied below in the description of this video. Okay, let's get started building our boomerang. So to start off this project, get out your pre-glued spars and a pen. And you're going to want a nice flat table that has a smooth surface like this one here. The first thing you need to do is determine which is your top side. To do that, you want to spin the boomerang on the table and then flip it over and spin it again and see which side spins better. Obviously, this side doesn't spin very well. This side does. So the side that spins the best, leave that down, and you're going to write a T on the spar in the center, and that's going to be the top of your boomerang. Now we're going to cut out the wings for our boomerang. So take your scissors and your cardstock, and we're going to cut out one set of the 3 wings. The other set is if you want to make your own, where you're going to glue another set of sticks together. So just follow the heavy dark lines around the rectangles and cut out 3 of the wings. Try to follow the lines, but accuracy isn't critical. Just do your best. Alright, so there we have our 3 wings cut out. So now that you have your wings cut out, we're going to make the airfoils. You want to take your tape and one of the wing patterns you've cut out, and you want to pull off a piece of tape about as long as the wing. Doesn't need to be perfect. And then you're going to stick it onto the wing so that it's only halfway, half of the tape is on the wing and half of the tape is sticking off. Now you're going to take your tongue depressor, one of the single ones, and you're going to line it up with the edge of the cardboard and the tape. And then you're going to stick the tape to the tongue depressor, just like that. And push the tape down good on both the tongue depressor and the cardboard. Now what you're going to do is you're going to turn this over so that the tape side is down, and you want to flip the tongue depressor over once, push everything down, and then twice. And crease the edge very well, like that. Now, tip the tongue depressor out and remove it from the tape. You notice the tape is still on the cardboard. Put the tongue depressor back in to the crease and stick the tape down to the other side of the cardstock. Again, squish everything down so it's all firm. Now you should be able to take the tongue depressor out. And here we've made our first airfoil. So do that 2 more times. Now that we have our 3 wings made, we need to add them to our boomerang. But before we do that, we need to determine, do we want this to be a right-hand throwing boomerang or a left-hand throwing boomerang? So at home, you need to decide, are you right-handed or are you left-handed? I think most people know that. If you're not sure, pick up a ball and throw it. Whatever hand you throw with, that's the style boomerang that we're going to want to build. For me, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to make a right-handed boomerang. To do this, you want to pick up your boomerang with the T up for your top, and you're going to face one of the spars towards you. You want to take one of the wings and you turn it over so the tape side is down. Now in my case, I'm making a right-handed boomerang, so when I slide it onto the boomerang, I want to make sure that the spar, this is the spar, is on the right-hand side. Notice the wing trails off of the spar over here, but you want the spar on the right-hand side if you're right-handed. And push it just until the wing lines up with the end of the spar. Again, right-handed, it's on the right-hand side. If you are left-handed, you're actually going to want to turn the wing around and place it on so that the spar is on the left-hand side. That's if you're left-handed. But we're going to make a right-handed one here for an example. So I put the spar on the right-hand side. Alright, once I have one of the wings on, I'm going to turn it to the next spar. And I'm going to do the same thing. Tape side down and turn it and slide it on so that the spar is on the right-hand side. I'm going to turn it again, and for the last time, turn it so it's tape side down, slide it on so the spar is on the right-hand side. Okay, now we couldn't really throw the boomerang like this because all the pieces of paper would just fly off. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our tape and get a small piece of tape off, and we're going to tape each one of them, each one of the wings, from the wing over the top of the T. Get another small piece of tape. Do that for all 3 of these. Okay, and now your wings are taped on. And the final step, which isn't really necessary, but is helpful, is you'll notice on the wings, in the corners, there's a little line. Those lines are just set up for cutting. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut all these little tips off. There, all the corners. And the only reason we do that is when we go outside to throw the boomerang, you're going to find that the corners are what is going to get banged up the most. So if you cut them off now, you won't have to deal with them later. So I'm just going to cut them off. You don't have to be super accurate. And there, your boomerang is ready to fly. A description on how to fly your boomerang can be found in the YouTube video, A Quick and Easy Boomerang You Can Build at Home. This video provides a very detailed description on how to fly your boomerang, so watch that next before you try to fly your boomerang. A link to this video can be found in the description below. I want to thank ScienceToymaker.org for designing the worldwide boomerang you just built and inspiring this video. Thank you very much for attending, watching this video, and good luck flying your boomerang.